We're mobile. Take Fox Sports 1350 with you using iHeartRadio. It's the IE's home for sports. KPWK AM 1350, Riverside, San Bernardino, an iHeartRadio station.
Yes, we are back in the great city of Riverside at the iHeartRadio studios. It's IE Sportsnet, protected by the Riverside Sheriff's Association, live on Fox Sports Radio, AM 1350. I am your host, Eternal.
And I am the one and only Coach B. You know, when it comes to Inland Empire Sports, you know the conversation starts and stops here. Make sure you visit us at foxsports1350.com, and we're also streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Coach B, we do have a special guest live on the Boost Mobile Celebrity Be Heard hotline. Right here live. And it's always a pleasure that we get a chance to reach out to the folks that are doing some good stuff out here in the community.
Absolutely.
In particular, Riverside and San Bernardino County.
The county you were born and
Riverside
raised in.
County right here, man. But, sir, please introduce yourself to the Fox Sports Radio audience right here live on the Celebrity Be Heard hotline.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Mike Crabbe. I'm a deputy with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for calling in. We got referred to you, as Coach B was saying earlier to you, by now Sergeant Murphy.
Yeah.
But again, like we were saying before we brought you on, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us today. We don't get a chance to, see gentlemen like yourself that are doing some of the positive things. I know a lot of times.
And before we get started, I want to say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your service in the community.
Yeah, exactly. But please kind of talk to us, our audience, a little bit about what you do in terms of with the Sheriff's Department first, and then we'll kind of get into what your nonprofit is.
Okay, well, with the Sheriff's Department, I'm a patrol deputy. That's my primary job. And then my secondary job, I work for the Search and Recovery Dive Team. And in that position, we help locate different items, evidence, body recoveries, things like that throughout Riverside County and the different bodies of water that we have.
Now I used to live over there by Paris Lake, like Lake Paris, excuse me. And let me tell you something, now that beautiful spot. But I mean, you've obviously been down there more times than anybody. Tell us about. I mean, stuff gets lost down there all the time. Have you ever been to? I mean, it is a mystery lake. Tell us about that lake right there in particular.
So I've been out here in Inland Empire since the '80s, and went to Lake Paris quite a lot. Heard some of the same things that you did. What was under there, and it's actually a very, very clean lake.
Right.
There are people who have sunk boats and they lose items. We find GoPros, we find cell phones, we find all kinds of stuff that people leave under there. But as far as the lake goes, it's a beautiful lake. It's actually very clean.
Interesting. Now, one of the things that we brought you on for, because not only are you a public servant in terms of what you do with the Sheriff's Department, but you also give your time in terms of you volunteer and you're helping folks in the community. Tell us about that effort that you're doing, the name of the nonprofit that it is, and kind of the origin of how it got started.
I volunteer with an organization called Dive Guardians. And Dive Guardians was started by a former sergeant that I worked with, Randy Lung. He got into it because he recognized through his time with the military that there were a lot of organizations out there helping vets with PTSD and injuries that they had in the military. And he noticed that there wasn't a whole lot happening for our first responders. And when I say first responders, I mean law enforcement, paramedics, dispatchers, people in the medical field, people on the front line.
Right.
There wasn't a whole lot for them in the way of these types of organizations. He had a close friend of his who committed suicide.
Wow.
And that really was the catalyst for him looking at this and saying, at the time he was working with an organization helping military vets, and he's like, you know what, we need something for our first responders.
Right.
Because they're suffering just as much because of the daily just the stuff that we deal with.
Right.
You know, and there's a thing called the John Wayne, kind of the John Wayne mentality where, you know, we're supposed to go to work and see all this stuff and deal with all this trauma, and then we're supposed to be tough and not let it bother us.
Right.
And that's where we kind of get ourselves into trouble.
Right. But yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at your program right now. I'm on diveguardians.org. So with your program, you're actually teaching people how to do the scuba diving. Is that a part of rehabilitation? What's the motivation? I tell you, before you came on, one of my biggest fears in this world, and I think I saw Titanic one time too many, I swear to you, is water. And my wife wanted to go on a cruise, and I said no. So, but what are you guys doing with the scuba?
So with scuba, and I'm like you, I grew up in the 70s, and my experience with the ocean was the movie Jaws.
Right.
That was my biggest fear.
Yes.
And every time I went in the water, I heard that theme song in the back of my head. And that was a fear. That's long since gone. But with scuba, the health benefits of water and just that freedom and the peace that you find, it is so. It allows you to just kind of release, and you got to find a way to release that pressure, that daily pressure, and that buildup.
Right.
And the great thing with scuba is it's a buddy sport. So you go with somebody. So you've got that person in your life who maybe you can't talk with, you can't express everything that's going on at work. You can bring them into this program, and you can do this together.
Nice.
And it's almost a healing, not only of the person who is maybe suffering from the PTSD, but that relationship that maybe needs a little bit of help as well. It helps bring those people together in this environment of scuba, and then the health benefits of there's a whole science behind it.
Right.
Of going deep under the water and getting more oxygen into your body and oxygen healing you. And the benefits just go on, and it's been proven. And the results from, people dealing with their PTSD and their whatever mental issues they have because of scuba, it's amazing. My own, issues and stress levels, I've seen greatly decreased because of being involved with this program for myself.
And that's great stuff. And, it's funny you say Jaws, because another true story for me, when I was a kid, I remember going to Universal Studios, and they had the Jaws thing, and they still have it. And I was maybe 7, 8, and it scared me so bad. It's ridiculous. But one thing I want to say about, again, we're at diveguardians.org. I'm on the website. How can someone get involved with you if someone is suffering from the PTSD? And my father-in-law, he went to Vietnam, and he suffers from the PTSD. How can someone get involved with you? Do they just go ahead and go on the website? Do they register? How does someone benefit from your effort?
So a couple of ways. We are a nonprofit organization, so we are looking for donations and help that way. You can go onto the website and click on the badge. There's a couple of different options. People can donate with a monthly commitment. We'd like to have $10 a month as just a base commitment, a couple of cups of coffee. That'll cost you, or a one-time donation. You can do it that way. We're always looking for volunteers that can help out. But the way the program is set up is for a first responder to come through the program, they're paid for. We cover all the costs for that first responder.
Oh, that's great.
And then they bring a buddy through the program, and that buddy is brought to the program at a discounted cost. Basically, they're just covering the cost of the program, and that's it. We don't make any profit off of it. But as far as the first responder, we provide everything for them. Kind of take away any of the reasons other than their fear of the water.
Right.
We kind of help them through everything, and it starts with pool sessions in a very controlled environment. We do dives off of the coast out here. We go out to Catalina.
Nice.
And I'll tell you, for your listeners, what got me, what really sealed it for me, was scuba, because I had that fear of the whole Jaws thing going on. The first time I stuck my face in the water out in Catalina, it was like I was in my own personal fish tank.
Wow.
My own personal little fish aquarium.
Right.
That you grew up seeing everywhere.
Nice.
And all these fish around you, and it's just amazing.
Nice.
It's like being on a different planet.
Right.
You're a guest on a different planet that you know nothing about.
Right.
And you're discovering things for the first time. And when's the last time we get so busy in our lives, when's the last time you discovered something for the first time?
Right.
Right.
No, that's
it's
amazing.
An amazing experience.
And I was just in Catalina earlier this year. My wife loves Catalina. I'm looking at your sponsors. I see the Riverside Sheriff's Association is one of your sponsors, and then Seaport Village Inn. Avalon, let them know that because of you, Coach B will be staying there. I was looking for a hotel to stay in Catalina. It's funny. Yeah. But, yeah, the wife and I, we love Catalina, and we want to go back this year. So Seaport Village Inn, I will be coming and giving you some business.
Yeah. And just one – I'm sorry, please, go ahead.
I'm sorry, really quick. It's a simple number, 833-DIVE-911.
Nice.
That's the number that you can reach and talk to Randy. And get plugged into the program. And I just want to put out, one of the biggest things that we look at with this whole program, one of the main driving forces, 2019, we had 228 cops that committed suicide.
Wow.
And there's help. It's available.
Right.
But again, we're in this community where we're supposed to be so tough and so brave. And just this year alone, there's been 120 cops that committed suicide. And you don't see it in the news, and you don't hear it talked about.
Exactly.
And people don't really want to talk about it. They just kind of hide it, even within our own, this career.
Right.
We don't talk about it.
Right.
Because it's something you don't want to think about. It happens more than it should, and we just don't want to talk about it because everybody thinks, oh, it's not me. That'll never happen to me.
Right.
And that's part of the problem.
Right.
Well, I can tell you just today, I know that for the people, I got goosebumps, man. Just for the people today, they got a chance to hear you. I know that that was some saving grace. Because again, that's some stuff, as you mentioned, you don't hear that on the popular media outlets about things that are affecting affecting both sides. You have people in the community, then you have the folks that are actually protecting the community. So again, we just want to say collectively right here from Fox Sports Radio AM 1350. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for everybody over there at Dive Guardians for the great work that you're doing. And again, if you don't mind, please, again, just let our audience know before we conclude how they can get in contact with you again, and the name of the nonprofit and how they can get in contact with you, please.
Yeah, diveguardians.org. You can go on the website. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can call the number, the 1-833-DIVE-911. Any of those will lead you to the website. You can sign up for the program. You can sign up to be a donor. And that would be the biggest help that anybody could do. If you're afraid of the water, you don't see yourself ever getting into scuba. Some people that's just the way they are.
Right.
I'm like that with skydiving. I'm never jumping out of a plane.
another fear of mine is heights.
So there's no Sky Guardians going on.
Right.
But they can help by donating.
Fantastic.
That helps out tremendously.
And we're going to make sure we set up a link on our website to where we can do that. And we'll also make sure that we give you guys a donation as well. So again, thank you, man. Keep up the good work, you guys. And anything goes on that you guys want to make sure you get a word out to the community, please feel free to use this as outlet, okay?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's been great.
Our pleasure, right there.
And let Mr. Young and Mr. Murphy know we said thank you.
Yes, we said thank you. And again, thank you for
your service. I will let Sergeant Murphy know that, yes.
Absolutely.
All right, you take care. Enjoy your weekend.
You too, gentlemen.
There it is. All right,
that's good stuff right there.
Man,
that's what I like. You think when you think of sports, there are so many things. I know football and basketball is huge. But there are huge sports out there.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. When he was just talking about diving in Catalina, man,
that's the clearest water I've ever seen.
Man.
I know you've been on.
I'm about to say, I've been
you've been all over at Turcos and
INTL.
You're living your best life, but it's okay. Okay.
We're gonna get there, man. It's all good. But
absolutely.
Again, this really, thank you so much right there. We appreciate that. Riverside Sheriff's Association,
absolutely.
number one, who's been supporting us for 4 years,
absolutely,
4 years plus.
Absolutely,
that's how we've been doing. They've been assisting us to where we can give out our scholarships. We do our Riverside County football game.
Right,
that doesn't happen without the support of the Riverside County Sheriff's Association.
Absolutely.
And again, thank you so much to the Riverside County Sheriffs.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a commercial break. You're listening to IE Sports That Protected by the Riverside Sheriff's Association with Coach B.
Andy Turner. When it comes to Inland Empire Sports, the conversation starts and stops here live on Fox Sports 1350.
We are Fox Sports!